Thank you, guys. So far we discussed the first four tenets of the sevenfold mind training. Now here we start with the fifth mind training. It says, fifth mind training, training the mind by reflecting on the qualities of the Buddha. The Buddha transcends all the cycles of samsara. His body is radiant with the marks and signs of enlightenment. His speech turned the wheel of Dharma, and his mind never wavers from primordial wisdom. He is the ultimate refuge and support, the only true spiritual guide for all beings in the world, including the devas. Therefore, Buddhahood is something to be attained. There is no real benefit without Buddhahood, but it cannot be attained without cultivating the path. Therefore, we must practice and meditate diligently. In the mind training, this is a method to inspire faith, trust, motivation, and a clear direction on the path. So Buddha is here, like we contemplate on the qualities of Buddha, right? The Buddha is completely liberated from samsara, a fully realized human being who freed himself from suffering through deep, deep self-understanding. So here, the marks and signs, the Buddha's body radiance, all the signs of enlightenment. There are lots of signs. And then naturally expressing peaceful compassion, purity, and he's a consistent ethical conduct. He gave teachings that show us how to practice and awaken. And his teachings are suitable for beings of all different people, different abilities, right? He has many different kinds of teaching. And he speaks what is true and compassionate. He possesses perfect compassion, perfect wisdom, perfect ability to help beings. So his wisdom is effortless, completely free from what we call free from destruction. Therefore, he represents the most reliable refuge and guide in Buddhism. Therefore, in this teaching, reflecting on the Buddha's qualities, because it inspires us confidence in the path, and that helps us understand that enlightenment is possible and it is meaningful. It's not just symbolic, it's a real state that we can attain through practice, meditation, and leading us towards inner wisdom, inner freedom, So enlightenment represents the potential to become a compassionate and fully um, liberate human being. So, therefore, it says there is no real benefit without Buddhahood, but it cannot be attained without cultivating the path. So, this means that even if we have temporary happiness and good fortune, uh, as I mentioned above, they're not lasting, right? Because they remain within samsara. So only Buddhahood, enlightenment, brings genuine benefit. But it does not happen, does not arise without training, discipline, and practice. Without this, it's impossible. With this, enlightenment is possible. It is meaningful. Therefore, we must, here say Lhongchenpa say, must practice, meditate diligently. He said that makes sense. He spent years and years in cave, in retreat, in practice, and develop his wisdom. Because of that, he left us um, profound his teachings. Without him, basically, Nyingma tradition, these teachings and lineage, impossible right now, today. Without him, there is no such Nyingma tradition. He has his meditation and the way he developed his practice, just unbelievable. We're not there yet. We can't be like that, but it's a good example. So it's trustworthy. Whatever he says here, it's really trustworthy and very beneficial. Even we hear these words in our ear, for sure. Long term, there is we collect, we create really profound karma, so that eventually will be a very authentic student of or follower of Lhongchenpa. Anyway, uh, now it says we must follow the example of the remarkable Siddhas, Siddhas of the past and apply ourselves single-pointedly to the practice, just as they went through these Siddhas, right, Bodhisattvas. Just as they went through hardships and meditated in isolated retreat, we must also renounce the samsaric concerns of this life and practice in solitude. The measure of accomplishment in this practice is to develop the attitude that since Buddhahood cannot be attained without meditation, we must do everything we can do, must do everything we can to meditate diligently. The purpose of accomplishment, no, the purpose of the contemplation is to cultivate courage and determination in meditation. Mm. So follow example of the remarkable siddhas. Siddhas refers here to highly accomplished meditators like Longchenpa himself, and who realized uh, practitioners from Buddhist history, siddhas. And many of them lived, as you know, in caves and forests, facing cold and hunger, physical difficulties, right? They did that because authentic meditation sometimes requires discomfort and willingness to face challenges because them challenges makes them stronger instead of giving up. So following their example means here taking inspiration from these great siddhas, masters of the past, uh, following um, the, their example means practice with commitment, um, dedication, confidence, what they did, these siddhas and these masters, following their example. Now, can we live in cave without anything? Absolutely not. Clearly, absolutely. Can we reduce worldly distractions and create an environment that supports genuine practice? Definitely, yes, we can. If it helps our practice, we can, we should. So we may not be great meditators yet, but we must cultivate the confidence and motivation to engage, practice, meditation sort of fully. So the key point here is developing the right attitude and recognizing that meditation is essential for enlightenment. So, therefore, cultivating a strong determination to practice. In Buddhism, um, progress is not measured only by spiritual experience, but by developing strong motivation, commitment, and understanding that um, diligent meditation is absolutely necessary for achievement. That's the key here. That's why he mentioned follow the example of Siddhas, the great meditators, and then he mentioned here how they went through their life. Like think about Buddha Shakyamuni himself, how he went through difficult challenges and never give up. And the more he faced challenges, more he sort of became um, tough and very strong, and then result, enlightenment, Buddhahood. So that's so. But we just like do need to do is like every single day meditate, no matter what. Commitment, motivation. That's we can't live in caves and face difficult cold. No, no, no. We don't have to. We don't. It's not necessary. But what necessary is every single day practice, practice. That's the essence of this. Now the sixth mind training, training the mind by reflecting on the Guru's instructions. The Guru is the captain who guides us across the bottomless ocean of samsara. The Guru's instructions are the great ship that carries us to liberation. Therefore, we must practice in accordance with the Guru's guidance. Otherwise, we will remain tormented by the afflictions of suffering. The Guru, our our greatest healer, is supremely kind. We must diligently practice the healing instructions at all times and take them deeply to heart. The measure of accomplishment in this practice is to let go of worldly concerns and follow the Guru's instructions alone. The purpose of this contemplation is to avoid mental distraction and to concentrate wholeheartedly on the instructions. The sixth practice here in Sevenfold Mind Training focuses on contemplating the teacher's instructions. Right? It emphasizes that reflecting on the guidance of an experienced teacher helps us um, train our mind correctly. So, as we talked, discussed before, samsara is endless cycle of suffering, right? And not samsara itself, but the way we relate it to. This is what we call samsara. So the spiritual teacher is like, it says, captain navigating a ship through the bottomless ocean. The represent samsara. The bottomless ocean means samsara. Without a skilled guide, we can easily get lost in confusion. Therefore, Lhongchenpa advised us that the teachings and guidance are essential to navigate the challenges of this ocean, bottomless ocean of this life. Um, but as you know, it's not enough to receive teachings superficially, right? Without practice, without meditation, liberation is impossible. So we must diligently apply the instructions once you received in daily life to benefit from them. Otherwise, suffering will continue, no end. However, following the Guru's instructions, especially as a Western practitioner, can be also challenging because of, um, as I always, mention that because of the culture differences um, and unfamiliarity with um, what do you call it, traditional form works. But I can say that they are workable way to do it. The Buddha taught that genuine trust arises from examining, right? Study the teachings your teacher gives. Ask questions if you need. Clarify anything that you don't understand. Um, so this prevents misunderstanding, right? And builds confidence and a good relationship. Um, the teacher's instructions are not meant to turn you into someone else, right? They help you to understand who you are. So you can ask to yourself, am I become more patient? Am I become more mindful? This kind of questions. This is how you know you are actually following instructions, teachings are following that or not. So, Westerns sometimes try to do too much at once, from my own experience, and then become sort of discouraged. Therefore, start with small and consistent daily practice will be great. Great. Like 30 minutes of meditation daily, is better than 3 hours once a week, you know? And also, um, don't try not to separate practice time from regular life. Oh, this is my practice time. I'm very patient. I'm very compassionate. Then your daily life, you're angry, frustrated, then you're just, we are separate, right? Separate practice time and daily life. So integrate the Dharma teachings into everyday life. Very helpful. For example, practice patience in traffic, you know, cultivate compassion at work, for example. Remember impermanence at moments of stress. Oh, I'm stressful now, but this will not stay forever. It's impermanent. Then sometimes, recite mantras while you're walking. Maintain heart connection to the um, teachings and guide, the teachers. Remember their kindness, visualizing their parents at your heart, um, reading their words and instructions in daily. The the inner connection is what makes the teachings effective. So this is how you follow their instructions. As long as Lhongchenpa mentioned here, that's the essence of this kind of which is this fifth mind training teaching. So how you follow their instructions and how build relationship. That's very, very important. That's what this means. Now the seventh mind training the mind by contemplating non-conceptuality, which has three stages. First, training the mind in non-conceptual bliss and emptiness. Visualize nectar drops descending from the hung at the upper center of the central channel. Boy, this is a little bit complicated, okay? Uh, uh, Visualize nectar drops descending from the hung at the upper center of the central channel, heated by the fire generated from the A syllable, right, at the navel. Feeling the four main chakras, and sounds like Vajrayana, chakras and all the brain channels manifest in bliss for emptiness. Then next, bring the lower wind upward and the upper wind downward. Focusing the mind on the white A at the heart. Through these blissful methods, empty wisdom arises. Um, so here, the main thing is focus on you know, um, non-conceptuality. That's what it's non-conceptuality. Non-conceptuality means a state of mind that is not fabricating thoughts and emotions, right? It does not mean like blankness or unconsciousness, right? So it means clear awareness without thinking about anything, non-conceptuality. So there is a sense of simply being here, non-conceptual. So normally the mind is constantly thinking, right? Always, this is good. I like this. What does that mean? You know, I don't like that. So we're always constantly thinking. But in non-conceptuality, you are still aware. You still see, hear. You still feel. Your thoughts may arise, but they dissolve on their own, and the mind doesn't follow them. The mind doesn't divide it, experience into like me versus you know, good versus bad. It's just non-conceptuality means just clear awareness, basically. Okay. Then it says bliss and emptiness. Probably you know that, but bliss is a deep, stable, and peaceful state that arises when the mind completely rests in its own nature. That's bliss. Emptiness is the recognition that thoughts, sensations, experiences um, do not possess an independent nature, right? That's bliss in emptiness. And now you understand bliss in emptiness and non conceptuality, right? Now, how do you meditate on this? How do you meditate on this? As I said, it's a little bit complicated. You know, you don't have to meditate this if you're not ready or this is not, you're not, into it. You don't have to. Uh, but also very powerful meditation. I used to, I've done this, but not anymore. So if you want to meditate on it, this is how to do it. As usual, of course, first you have to relax your mind. There are many methods how you relax your mind, but you know that's that. So first you have to relax your mind. Now, when the mind relaxes, then you visualize, as here says, nectar drops down from the hung syllable, not hung. It's hung syllable. This is different, okay? It's a hung syllable. Um, that upside down like this, okay? You can also visualize the English word, the syllable hang, or Tibetan, what doesn't matter. So you visualize that hung syllable, nectar drops down from the hung syllable and the central channel like that. Now this is physical channel, right? Um, and that nectar comes down in the central channel, then heated by the fire generated from the I syllable at the navel area. So this warmth fills the four main chakras, your main chakra, and all the other also the subtle channels in your body, and generating a sense of this, as I said, blissful emptiness. So the nectar drops from the hung syllable is in according to Vajrayana meditation, is a method of cultivating recognition, stability, relaxation, and inner clarity. And then the syllable hung represents awakened mind, clarity, or subtle energy at the crunch or your upper center channel right here. And this nectar represents sensation of sort of coolness, like sweetness, like bliss, you know. When nectar fills the body, your whole body, through these channels and chakras, you know, your whole body, you can feel relaxation and sort of healed internally. That's and the syllable a at the navel symbolizes that the inner heat we call in Tibet tummo, means like the energy, heat energy in your body. So when the visualization fills the chakras, um, you are imagining your thoughts dissolving and a sense of sort of unified presence is, you know, increasing. As the mind becomes quiet and unified, moments of openness and clear awareness begin to arise through this kind of Vajrayana meditation. Um, so this is what the teaching explains empty wisdom. Then, as you know, there are four main chakras, right? They are symbolic energy sort of centers used in this meditation. So there is the crown chakra at the top of your head, okay, symbolizing great bliss and subtle awareness. Then there is the throat chakra at your the throat, symbolizing communication, subtle sound, and expression of wisdom. There is the then heart chakra, symbolizing primordial awareness, the nature mind, compassion, uh, emptiness, the subtle mind, basically. Then finally, there is the navel chakra at the lower your abdomen, right? Symbolizing inner heat and sort of transformative energy. And you imagine this warmth and clarity spreading throughout the body's subtle energy, you know, centers. Through this visualization, you cultivate a feeling of peaceful openness and blissful emptiness. It's kind of like difficult to understand if you are never done this meditation. But once you meditate, you really feel like this peaceful openness and blissful, this emptiness unite, you know, like both. And then this nectar is visualizing, it's basically symbolize the wisdom, you know, the coolness that really strong when you meditate. Like you basically not first, not second, but if you meditate on enough, then you feel it. It's just your body really feel it. This really peacefulness through the nectar, this meditation. Then it said this is also difficult. It says bring the lower wind upward, the upper wind downward. Focus in the mind on the white eye at the heart. So here, wind. Wind refers to the subtle energetic movement that tied to breath. um, as well as the momentum of thoughts, emotions, and attention. So this is not meant to be taken literally as moving your organs, right, up or down. Not. Rather, it means calming your breath, focus on your mind, collecting mental energy at the heart. So focus on the white ah syllable at the heart center. Is a method and a way to support attention in a subtle, peaceful point. And then it says, through these blissful methods, empty wisdom arises. Um, Blissful method refers to the visualizations we have described, right? Empty wisdom arises. This is the goal of this practice. Empty wisdom arises. Uh, Empty wisdom arises is basically relative and ultimate bodhicitta. This is the goal of this practice. So these methods help meditators focus attention, and most importantly, empty wisdom arises through these methods. Your relative and ultimate bodhicitta arise through these methods, which is nature mind. Okay, no more. That's enough. Now the second stage for this practice, it says, second, training the mind in non-conceptual clarity and emptiness. Begin by exhaling the still air 3 times. We know that. As you breathe in, visualize all outer appearance dissolving into light, merging with the blue sky and entering your body. They fill every part of your body with radiance. Unite and hold the winds. This practice brings clarity and emptiness. A key point is that when the body feels cold, the wind should feel warm. When it feels hot, the wind should feel cold. More, for in summer, the fire wind circulate. Oh yeah, and in autumn it is the wind. In winter the water wind, and in spring the earth wind. Their methods of visualizing the winds and certain colors and with associated sensations, but this is only further explanation. The space wind is always spacious and combines two forms of touch. So it is sufficient to focus on and practice only this wind. Longchenpa is really good with this meditation, according to his text. This meditation is complicated. If you don't want, you don't have to. So that's why I'm not really explaining in detail and how to meditate on this. We already discussed the training the mind and non-conceptual bliss and emptiness, right? Now here is the second training of the mind and non-conceptual clarity and emptiness. The first is bliss and emptiness. This is the clarity and emptiness, okay? That's the essence. The distinction between these two is very subtle, but important in Vajrayana teachings, meditation. So non-conceptual bliss and emptiness, this combination emphasizes that the experiential joy or pleasure that arises when thoughts dissolves. Bliss is not sort of emotional excitement, right? It's natural bliss of subtle uh, parana gathering in the central channel and making the mind extremely open and clear. And emptiness is the nature, and bliss is the quality of that nature. Okay? So, in short, empty awareness experienced as intensively joyful without any concept, and non-conceptual clarity and emptiness. um, this combination emphasizes that the mind's knowing quality naturally become transparent when thoughts dissolve. So this union refers to the luminous, the vivid quality of mind that knows, perceives, and is fully awake, while the nature of that awareness is empty. It is pure awareness without thoughts. That's why they call it empty. So, in short, empty awareness experienced as luminous, vivid, and knowing, without any uh, thoughts and concepts. So, in Vajrayana Buddhism, the mind has two inseparable uh, uh, sort of two qualities, inseparable qualities, mind in Vajrayana. That is clarity and emptiness, right? So clarity is the quality of knowing, basically. The knowing, the functions of the mind. Does that make sense? Emptiness is its essence or nature. And then bliss is the natural uh, expression that arises when the bharana, Sanskrit, and thoughts settle. So clarity and bliss both are expression of the same empty awareness, but they emphasize different aspect of it. Okay. Now it says begin by exhaling the still air 3 times if you want to meditate on this. So to start the practice, you need to do 3 sort of round breathing exercises, right? So letting go of tension and conceptual thinking. That's what why we breathe in and out, right? So here, like 3 rounds breathing exercises. So when you breathe in, it says visualize the entire external appearances dissolving into light when you breathe in. And then that light becomes inseparable um, from the open, vast blue sky, a symbol of blue sky, a symbol of emptiness and spacious mind. And the light you are visualizing here enters your body through your breath and fills you completely every part of your body, and your whole body becomes clear, illuminated, and radiant. And then it says, unite and hold the winds. This refers to bringing the subtle internal energies, what we call parana, right? Parana. Parana means wind. In, I mean, parana in Sanskrit. Parana is the wind, the energy. The parana is the sort of movement of the body and mind. And prana flows through the nadis, in Tibetan called tsa, means the channels, the energy channels. So in this practice, you hold the parana, the wind, and the center channel, which is your main energy sort of channel. And by focusing on that energy, the center of your body, uh, so the mind becomes calm, clear, and sort of naturally present. And then it says, this practice brings clarity and emptiness. So doing this meditation helps the mind becomes vivid. At the same time, it reveals open, sort of non-solid nature mind, which is emptiness. So these two qualities, clarity and emptiness, arise together through this method and through this meditation. Um, and you also have to keep balance when when your body feels cold. The subtle inner wind, the parana energy, should feel warm. This really works. That's why there's lots of good meditators. There's sometimes in the winter time in Tibet, like being naked and just to meditate on outside, because they're meditating on this, when your body feels cold, and then you know feel or you visualize whatever your inner this parana, the energy you feel, you visualize like very hot or maybe a little bit warm or like that, and that helps protect the cold. But this is not about forcing sort of temperature changes. It's about noticing a balance that arises when the energy and mind settle properly. Okay, that's that. The next, it says, the third training, the mind in non-conceptual dharmata. Now relax the body and mind and meditate with eyes unmoving in a state of free from the proliferation of thoughts. The measure of accomplishment in each of these practice means this non-conceptual practice. There are three ways, right? Training. Practice is your ability to remain steadily in a sky-like, non-conceptual state. The purpose of the contemplation is the increased bodhicitta further and further. So this is actually, like when you meditate in Dzogchen, the nature mind, it's the essence of the same. They have, and through the Vajrayana, they have more sort of methods, instructions in order to uh, focus on your nature, just different methods. So if you think this is complicated, you don't have to meditate, just focus on the way you usually meditate on nature mind. It's good enough. So, but this here introduced the third stage of the practice, right? This is a dharmata. Dharmata, of course, dharmata means the true nature of all phenomena, the ultimate nature. So training the mind in non-conceptual dharmata means here learn to rest directly in that nature without thinking, without analyzing, without fabricating anything. That's why it says, relax the body and mind and meditate with the eyes unmoving in a state free from proliferation of thoughts. So this describes how to practice. Relax both body and mind. Keep your eyes open, unmoving. Rest your sort of raised your gaze, which helps stabilize the parana and thoughts. This is kind of we do when we practice dzogchen, right? So in short, so rest, relax, stillness, which with this with steady your eyes, open gaze, and letting thoughts, emotions, all these ideas dissolve without any mental activity, basically, without any internal reflections and analysis. That is what we call non-conceptual dharmata means here. Okay. Now the last we have the dedication. It says, I will read this. Through the virtue pure as a snow-capped mountain of setting out these seven mind training instructions, the key points of the most profound preliminary practice, may all beings attain the state of perfect peace. With a karmic link from past training, I learned the key points of the supreme essential vehicle in this life. With the sincere wish to benefit others, I have clearly expressed its profound definitive meaning. May the fortunate ones hold this excellent entry point to the essential meaning as an ornament upon their crown. For those seeking liberation, the supreme chariot path will be swiftly accomplished through this text. Okay, so then there is this completes the essential instructions on the preliminary seventh mind training composed on the um, sloops of Gaur Totkar means sloop, by Lhongchenpa. He lived here, there, Gaur Tokar, many, many years. Yogan of the Supreme Vehicle. Since this is assigned to the glorious protectors of Ekanzati, Zarahala, and Bajra Sad, Bajra Sad. If this text is uh, corrupted or improperly modified, the oath-bound one will meet out of harsh punishment. Oh, keep this secret from the unqualified. Okay. Transmit it to the fortunate ones. Sealed Samaya, Samaya. Let it be virtues, virtues, virtue. Okay? Great. So well done.